So, my client wanted to simplify his life by adding furniture to his floor plans. But all of his projects had different configurations. Sometimes he needed a one single couch, sometimes a two pieces couch, and so on. So I created this dynamic block that works with any uh, configuration and can be quickly inserted in any living room. How did I do this? Well, this is what today's live show is going to be about. But first, let me jump to the chat and say hi to you, ask you how are you doing today, and mention a couple of things before we start today's live stream. So, if you are new to the show, my name is Irving, and I show up here each Sunday at 10 a.m. That is the Pennsylvania, United States time. So, with a new way to save time in AutoCAD, right? So, either maybe creating a dynamic block like today's live stream, we might create a custom tool that also can save you time, sharing tips and tricks, basically anything that we can share here live that can save you some time working with this program called AutoCAD, right? So, yeah. So, before we start reading some of your comments, and also before we start creating this awesome dynamic blog that I'm sure is going to save you some time, um, let me mention a couple of things. So, the first thing I want to mention is that we're going to have a contest today. Well, yes, we're going to have a contest, and the contest is going to be the prize is going to be this dynamic block that we are going to create today. So whoever wins the contest, of course, I'm going to give this dynamic block for free. Usually, I only give all of my dynamic blocks to my supporters here on YouTube as a YouTube member or on Patreon. But we'll have a contest today by the end of this live stream. So stay tuned if you want to know how you can participate. All right, so we have 7 people connected so far. That's awesome that more and more people are finding our shows. We're gonna start reading some of your comments in a moment, but that was the first thing I wanted to mention is that we're gonna have a contest to win this dynamic blog. So stay tuned for that. Um, we're also another thing that I want to mention is that we implemented a new thing in the channel, which is basically a new show. And this new show is called The Lazy Question. And it's a show that I'm trying to see if you guys will like it. It's basically, I'm going to pick a random comment from any of you and do a response in a live stream, right? So yeah, we're gonna do that. So that's a new thing that I'm implementing in our channel. So probably next week we're gonna have one of those live streams answering one of your questions. So, and if you wanna know more or all of the things we have in the channel for you regarding AutoCAD, you can check us on our website at lazyarquitecto.com. All right. So we have already people commenting on the chat. That's awesome. So for if you can tell me where are you connecting from, that would be awesome to know because I know I have people or friends from all over the world. So that's awesome. For example, I am right now in Pennsylvania, the United States. However, I'm originally from Peru in South America. So, yeah, so where are you connecting from? So Mary Miriam is saying, hello, Irving from Cyprus. Hi, Mary. It's always nice to have you here um, on the show, participating and making our live shows more interactive. That's very nice. I really like that interaction. So we're going to start soon. All right. Uh, okay. So thank you, Mary, for being here. And I think we are ready to start. As always, I'm gonna hide myself from the screen so you can enjoy a more better or cleaner screen. And also, you can interrupt me at any time, right, during this live show. So if you have a specific question or you want to know something about it, just let me know, put it on the chat, and I'll be able to read it live. Okay? So I think we are ready to start with 7 people. That's awesome. So we're going to have a contest. Don't forget. Um, it says we have one comment on the chat before we start. It says O'Neill is on the chat. I think you're new, O'Neill, to the show. That's awesome that more people are finding us on YouTube or on Facebook because we do our live shows over there. So says hello, please. How I put AutoCAD on my computer? Sure. O'Neill, you have many options to get AutoCAD, right? I already did many videos about it, but basically, to summarize, if you can afford the program, right, you can just Google how to download AutoCAD. But if you cannot afford it, you can still try it for free for 30 days. So you can just Google AutoCAD free 30 days trial. You can sign up with an email and so on. It's very simple. And I can point you to a video that I did. So let me see over here on my second screen how to download AutoCAD trial. Let's see. Okay, I found it really quick. It's right here. This video says how to download AutoCAD free trial version. So you can try that out, O'Neill. And that's very straightforward. You can see it's 1 minute and 23 seconds because again, I want you to waste time, right? That's the goal of our channel, save time. So yeah, you can watch that out. And yes, I hope I answered your question, O'Neill. So with 8 people connected, that's awesome. We're gonna start creating today's dynamic block that it's gonna save you so much time. So um, let's go over here and kind of inspect this dynamic block that we're gonna create today. A sofa or couch for a living room. Sometimes some people know them as sofas or couches. So but the whole idea is that you can quickly insert it. So I'm gonna erase this, or I'm gonna undo just to. So I'm gonna do undo with Control Z, so we can start fresh. And the idea is that we're gonna have many different sofas configurations. For instance, I can pick the one over here and simply inserted it, and it will automatically align, as you can see. So I'm gonna insert it over there. So but sometimes when we design these floor plans, we might need different configurations, right? For instance, I might need two coaches, so I can simply uh, change that with the visibility grid. And hey, let's say I need a 3 coaches, right? So not a problem. I can simply add that out. Hey, what about if I need this central piece to be a double, right? So not a problem. I can still add that out and simply arrange my coach as needed. Yeah. So, hey, I need another configuration. Well, not a problem. We can simply insert it from the tool palette and simply insert it like that. And hey, I needed 3 divisions coach over here. Not a problem again. You can simply expand that out, and maybe you want this to be a 2. So basically all of these configurations are into one single dynamic blog, right? So that's what we're gonna create today, and let's start. But before we have a comment on the chat, all right, like I was saying, oops, I didn't hide myself from the screen. I'm gonna do that right now so you can enjoy a cleaner screen, right? Because this is not about me, it's about you learning, you following these instructions so you can save time. So before, again, I'm gonna read a comment that I have. He says, O'Neill says, thank you so much, brother. Not a problem, O'Neill. I'm glad you found our live shows. That means we're doing a good job here because either YouTube or Facebook are recommending our show to more people. So that's awesome to know. Also, O'Neill says, do you coach one to one? Yes, O'Neill, we do offer this service, and you can know more about it, but just go into our website, lazyarquitecto.com. All right, so let's keep moving. With 10 people connected, that's awesome that you guys are here. Um, so, for people who just arrived, like my friend Michael, says, sorry, I'm late. Today, we're going to create this awesome uh, couch or sofa for some people configuration. Um, so, this is a couch that works with many configurations, such as 1, 2, and 3, and so on, so you can quickly adjust it as you need it. And yeah, it's very simple, very straightforward, but can save us a lot of time, right? Because we don't want to waste time uh, trying to design this. Mostly in my personal case, in architecture office, we place our furniture just for reference, so they understand that this is a living room and so on. So yeah, this will be a helpful dynamic block. All right. So thank you, Douglas. You're running late. That's okay. You're still. We're gonna start right now. So thank you for being here today, and let's keep moving with the show. Again, you can interrupt me at any time, and I can read your comment live. So again, how I started it to create this blog for my client was first. Uh, I what I did first is let me open it up. Here is okay. So how many sofas types are there, right? Like I'm not an expert on furniture, so for people who don't know, I work in an architecture office. I'm currently an architecture student. So but first I needed to know, have a sense of the types of couches or sofas, and I realized there are 1, 2, and 3 um, configurations over here, or types. So that was how I started doing previous research. After that, what I did is, okay, I know now the types of coaches, but hey, what about how they fit on each living room configuration, right? So then over here, I started to research some floor plans for residential in this case, and kind of put them together and find out some patterns, some repeat patterns, right, that I can use on my dynamic blocks so I can cover all of the configurations for my client, right? So, for instance, over here, I saw that, okay, we have number one and number one over here, which is a single uh, couch. And then over here, another pattern I found was number two, with this number two, which was a central two uh, pieces couch over here and two at the side. So, and then finally, the third pattern that I found was that this L shape configuration. So at this point, I had a clear idea of how to create my dynamic block, but finally I needed the final information, and it was about uh, the sizes, right? Because you don't want to randomly create sizes that doesn't exist in the market, right? that would be a big mistake. So I found out the different sizes for couches or sofas, and as you can see, here they are. So I used the 32 inches and the 5 feet and 7 feet. So that was the third piece of information that I needed, as you can see. So I started creating in these. There's nothing fancy, but you have a 3, 5, and 7 feet by 32 inches or 2 feet 8 depth. All right. So that's kind of the process how I started it. And then what I did is, of course, I'm gonna make, or I did create this or made this into a block. So uh, I forgot about this table because to keep things simple, first I needed to focus on this piece only, and then I'll add the table. So at this point, I created a block using the B shortcut on my keyboard, and I started naming my block. Of course, I'll rename it such as lazy couch, or you can call it sofa. Some people know them. So yeah, so I proceeded to say okay over here, and then I selected my base point. My base point, of course, needed to be a strategic base point, so that way I can quickly insert it and place it on my living rooms, right? So my base point, I located it over here on the central piece on the midpoint. So now I sometimes or most of the times we need to leave a gap over here from the wall. So that's why I place it my base point from the midpoint and I moved it up. So by using my uh, snapping reference line. So I hover over it and move it up about 2 inches and press enter. So that way, I have this geometry, and all of this I can erase it, of course, because I don't need that one. So that's my one piece coach. Very simple. So from this, right now, this is a static block, right? It's not a dynamic block yet. It's simply a static block. Following some block standards, of course, make sure that the layer is layer 0 and it's by layer on the color. So make sure that's correct. So at this point, the first thing that I did was, so let me, of course, close these two palettes so we don't get confused. The first thing is to use the authoring palette from the block editor ribbon. So if you don't see it on your screen, it's over here, authoring palette. So once you expand that out, what I did is start adding some parameters, some actions. So the first parameter that I added it was the linear parameter, right? So I selected the linear parameter and of course following the instructions that specify start point. So I did that and I did it over here on this point. So click on it and then finally over here on this other point. So I'll click on it and then I moved it down like so. So of course there was an exclamation mark, but I knew what was going on. It simply uh, this simply means that it's missing an action, this parameter. So that's not a problem. We're gonna add an action, but before we needed to simplify this parameter. I only needed one grip instead of two. So that's not a problem. I went to my property palette. So by simply open it, right, with the PR shortcut, like so. And once I selected my parameter and went down to my properties, I could change the number of grips to one, like so. So let's now, I was ready to, of course, add the action. So the action was the stretch action, which is right here, stretch. So once I click that, following the instructions, of course, I needed to select my parameter. This is the parameter I need. And then I needed also to specify the parameter point. The parameter point would be over here. So I'll simply click on it. And then I needed to specify my stretch also. So my stretch action would be over there. And finally, my objects would be all of these objects, but I needed to deselect the line that was over here. So how I did it was simply holding the shift key. So you need to hold the shift, and then I will deselect the line like so. So I'm gonna click there, and that way I deselect a line that it's over here on this part. So I can simply press enter right now, and as you can see, we added the stretch action over here. So before we proceed, we have a comment on the chat, and I would like to read it. It's saying, O'Neill. O'Neill says, I'm going to the church, guys. I will watch it later. Not a problem, O'Neill. Enjoy church. And of course, you can uh, come to us later. So let's keep moving to wrap up this sofa or couch dynamic block. So uh, let's test so far what we did, because that's a good practice when creating dynamic blocks. We don't want to simply start adding actions parameters and then in the end find out that we did something wrong, right? And then we need to figure it out, where is the mistake. So that's why we need to test the block here from the ribbon, and then let's see what we did. So over here we can see we have a stretch parameter over here. So if I stretch that out, you can see that that is working nicely, as you can see, right? So now let's start adding some more actions or parameters, in this case the array. So let's close the block test editor, and let's see over here. Okay, so now let's add another parameter or action, in this case the array. But before, if you see sometimes that everything is showing highlighted, we can regenerate simply our drawing, so that way our lines show up correctly. So as you can see, the important part here is that we have our geometry in a way that, oops, again it's showing highlighted. I'm gonna regenerate. So we have one line over here. This is a single line, and we needed another line over here so that we don't have right now. So let me draw it in order to array it. All right, so I'm gonna draw a line with the L shortcut and press enter, and I'm gonna draw my line from this point to this point. Click like so, and then I'm gonna press enter. So that line is very important because we're gonna array that line. All right, so let's continue then with the next action. So the next action is gonna be the array, as I was mentioning. So let's select that, and following the instructions, how I did it was, of course, select the parameter. I'm gonna select this parameter, select objects. The array that I need, or the object that I need, is only the single line. So how I'm gonna select it is clicking over here and using the windows. So I'm gonna click like that. So that way I don't select my geometry, only the line in the middle. So I'm gonna press enter, and then finally it asks me to specify a distance, right? So my distance would be, of course, I can select 2 points, this point and also this point over here. So that's my distance. So so far we added an array. So let's see how it looks by testing our block. So let's select it and let's see how this is working. So as you can see, the array is adding the extra line over here every 2 feet, as you can see, but it is not working or behaving the way that we want, right? In reality, we will never find a couch or sofa like this. So we needed something that a way to restrict this to only show a 2 feet increment. So let's fix that by closing the block editor. That's not a problem. What we need to do is uh, change this distance one parameter, and going over here under the property, what we need is an option that says distance type. So the distance type, there are two different ones, but the one that we need is called list. So once we select that list, we can add more values by clicking this icon. And then I can specify a value of, let's say, 4 feet, right? And simply add that value. And then finally, 6 feet. And again, add that value. So at this point, I can click OK. And you can see that two uh, lines were added over here that represents how our array is going to work. So let's quickly test it now. So let's test the block and let's see how this block is behaving. So let's change that. Okay, nice. And here we go. Nice. So of course I wanted to restrict it because the most used couch is, 1, 2, and 3. So but you can add it as you wish. But again, I wanted to simplify my client's life to give them the options that he only will need. All right, so far we are good over here with the parameter stretch and the array actions, but we still see a problem over here. All right, the problem is that these the point for our base point is not moving accordingly. So this will give us a problem because whenever we insert our block, I wanted to keep this base point centered with my block. So that's not a problem. How I did it is, of course, I close the test block. And what I did is how I solved this problem was simply adding a base point parameter, right, from my block authoring palette. So I selected, of course, and then I placed it. And so how I placed it is, of course, from my midpoint, I move it up 2 inches, so, like so, and that was my base point over there. Now, I needed it to associate this base point parameter with my stretch, right? So let's see if I can stretch it, and let's see what happens. So to modify a parameter or include a new item like this one, I could simply right click and say modify selection set to include this a new base point parameter. But a simpler way was to use another action, in this case, the move action. So that way I can move my base point accordingly, right? So let's do that. So the action would be move again. So following the instructions, what I did is, of course, select my parameter. So that's the parameter that we're using. So let's click on it. And then, of course, following the instructions says specify the point associated. So the point would be over here. And then my objects to move in this case would be the base point parameter, right? So let's click that out. And finally, I did press enter. So far, um, that's my move parameter. So let's test it really quick from the test block option, and let's see how this is working. So you can see that we did something, but not the not it's not working actually 100%. But you can see that now we have this um, base point parameter that it's moving uh, in a weird manner, but let's fix that. That's not a problem. We want again to have our base point centered always with our couch, right? So before we do this, our friend Michael has a comment on the chat and says, does filling the corners of the couch arms and back a good thing or not so much? Will it increase size of drawing? Um, Michael, that's a good question. And that, my friend, I would say is a personal preference, right? So uh, I wanted to keep things simple. So I didn't fillet the corners, but yes, you can add a fillet to the corners of your couch as you need it. That wouldn't increase um, at all or not much the size of your drawing. Yeah, so you can, of course, use the fillet. Uh, Michael, to your blog. Thank you for your great question, Michael. All right, so let's keep moving. Again, we needed to fix our base point to be centered. So let's close the block editor. So the way I fixed this small problem or issue was by selecting the move action that it's only working on this base point, right? So and then going to our property. So right now the distance multiplier is 1, but 1 would be if we are moving our base point according to this, but we need half, right? Because we wanted to keep it half. So the way it's, of course, do it 1 over 2 and pressing enter. So that will give us a zero point 0.5 or 0.50. So let's quickly test now our block again. So from the block test block editor, so let's start um, changing our configuration, and boom, as you can see, our base point will always keep centered with our block, right? So at this point, so the final piece that we needed was adding uh, our two tables over here. uh, so let's quickly do that, um, and let's close this block editor. And so the final touches, of course, again would be adding the two tables, and then adding the alignment parameter, right? So let's first add the alignment parameter. So the alignment parameter, it's over here under the parameters option. So the alignment parameter will help us to again align quickly with any wall, so that way you don't need to rotate manually your blocks. So let's do that. Alignment is over here. Let's select it. And following the instructions, of course, we needed to specify the base point first. So our base point would be from here 2 inches up, right? 2 inches and press enter. So it's right there. And finally, following the instruction says specify alignment direction. So it would be over here to the right and click like so. All right. Now, let's not forget that the same way we move our base point every time we stretch this, we also need to move our alignment parameter in the same way. So that's not a problem. We can include that in our move action. So let's select that and right click. And then over here we can say modify selection set. Once we do that, make sure is select objects to add is the option, because we want to add our alignment. So let's select this part as well as the icon over here, those two items, and let's press enter. All right, so we included our alignment parameter to the move action, so that way it can keep center. Let's test it so far. So again, that's the alignment parameter, and let's keep changing the configurations. And again, if you don't remember, this would be so that when you insert your block, right, it could align automatically with the wall like this or like this. All right. So yep, so let's close that out because it's working nicely, as you can see. is keeping centered. So let's close that out. And uh, the final touch would be the two the tables on the sides. So let's quickly do that by using the rectangle command. So, and of course, I'm gonna place it anywhere right now with a dimension option of about 18 inches, which is the standard size. So 18 inches by 18 inches. So that's our table. So how I like to place it is centered. So I'm gonna simply move it from the center point over here like so, and then move it again about 2 inches. So that's a personal preference again. And then I'm gonna mirror this to the side using the mirror command. Nothing fancy at this point. I'm simply mirroring this and have it in the side like so. So let's quickly test it. So let's see what else we need. So if we start arranging, you can see that we don't have a problem here, but we do have a problem with this other table, right? So we want this to move according to our stretch action or parameter. So let's quickly fix that out. Let's close our test block. And what we needed to do is, of course, include our stretch action to also be stretching or moving this table over here. So let's do that. So I'm gonna select this stretch and right click on it and say modify selection set. So at this point, specify first corner of a stretch. I'm gonna specify all of this and then select objects to add. Yes, I want to add an object. In this case is this table. So I'm gonna select that out and press enter. All right, so let's quickly test this again to see that if it's working now. So let's change that out, and yes, indeed it's working very nicely, right? So our alignment parameter and base point are moving center um, with the array as well as our dining tables. So we can close this up, and yes, so now to do the other procedure, which is of course the different types of visibility states. I'll show you once and you can do the second one yourself, because that's basically the same steps, same procedure, right? So let's see over here. So what I'm gonna do is select my couch over here, right? I'm gonna select it and I'm gonna simply copy that with the copy command. I'm gonna copy to the side like so. All right. So I'm gonna copy that out and simply rotate it and like so. So now I need to place this, right? So again, this is a personal preference, but I'm gonna place it over here and then I'm gonna move it about 12 inches down like so, right? So now, of course, I need to apply the same steps basically, but I'm just giving you um, showing you how you can do it, right? Same steps, apply a linear parameter over here, add another stretch action, and so on. It's basically the same thing, but the new thing that you need to know is the visibility state, right? So for the visibility state is over here under the parameter tab. So let's select that visibility. And over here, we need to specify our location, right? So our location, a strategic one would be over here in this corner. So that way, all of our icons are on a nice location, so it's more efficient to pick them, right? So over here again, we know that when there is an exclamation, it means it's missing something, right? So what it's missing is over here from the ribbon, we can add some visibility states. So let's click that out. So let's click on it, and over here we only have one so far. So let's rename that and say something like one couch, one couch. And then we can also add one more. In this case, make sure you leave the visibility of existing objects unchanged. That's very important. So over here, I'm gonna say two couches, click OK, and finally add one more with three couches and so on, right? So you got the idea. So I'm gonna click OK. And before we proceed, we have a comment on the chat. Is Michael says, awesome, you make this so clear and easy to follow. How do I make it so the couch will go to couch layer and table to tables layer when blocks are typically drawn on layer 0? Is this possible? That's a great question, Douglas. And yes, it's possible. You have to simply um, uh, apply a layer to one of your objects, right? For instance, so you want the layers to be, you're saying to be typical. So you want to couch to be on couch layer and table on table layer. So basically, what you need to do is, Douglas, place your tables on a layer called table, right? If you create a layer, you can assign it to the table layer. And then once you do that, you leave the couch on the layer 0. So then once you close your block and you place your whole block in the layer couch, then your couch will be on the layer couch, of course, and your dining tables would be on a different layer. So that's the way to do it, Douglas. So have um, these tables individually on a layer, and then your whole block on the couch layer. So I hope I answer your question. That's the way to do it. And I think I did because you said thank you so much. All right, so let's keep moving. We're almost there to wrap up this live stream. And so we were saying that we added a visibility over here, right, to add more configurations. So then the final step is to hide or show some of our geometry. In this case, if I go to one couch, of course, I wouldn't want to be this showing, so I can hide it over here from the ribbon and say make this invisible, like so. So that's the one couch configuration. If we change to two couch configuration, we will see these two, and you will apply the same steps to do a three couch configuration. So let's quickly test this. And as you can see, it's working nicely. And let's change this and to couch. So now the final piece is how we can keep this side aligned with this other couch while we stretch, right? So let's quickly finalize that part. So let's close this. And the way we do it is adding a move action. So let's add that. So let's go to actions, move, following instructions, select parameter. My parameter is this one over here, and then my point associated is this one over here, and my objects will be all of these objects. So I can press enter, and then so that's the new move action that we just added it. So let's quickly test that out. So let's test the block. Let's change to a 2 couch option, and let's see how this is working. And yes, it's working nicely. As you can see, we're keeping the same location according to our other couch, which is nice. All right. So I think this is this dynamic block is ready. So again, you can do the same procedure for the other side to have the three couch configuration. Once you do that, let's close the block editor and save the changes so I can show you the last step, which is how to add it to your tool palette. To your tool palette, you can simply open the tool palette with Control 3, right? And let me add it over here. So of course you need to save your drawing with Control S before, so AutoCAD recognize your block, and you can start copying some of these down. uh, you can start copying some of your block down and change the different configurations. So first one, then two, and then you can click and drag it to your tool palette like this. So that is one. And then if you add the one with two configurations, that will have the two and the three and so on. So that way you can quickly insert it, the configuration that you need, if you need a 2-1 or so on. All right. So that's how we do it. So hopefully you learned something useful today, something that you can apply to your workflow. And we're gonna have the contest right now. And while you let me know on the chat, what do you think about this parametric furniture or couch or sofa block? Please let me know. It's gonna be useful. Just know, put it on the chat. While you do that, I'm gonna explain the how you can participate um, on the um, contest to win this dynamic block that we just created it. Of course, the complete one, which is this one over here. So again, you can have all of the configurations as you need it, so you will never have to worry about your living rooms anymore. All right. So the contest is just put your name and say dynamic block, right? Say, or no, not even dynamic block, just say block on the chat if you want to win or get into the contest. Just put block right now on the chat, and I will pick a common winner, and I will personally email this dynamic block to the winner, right? Usually I only give this block to people who support my work, right? Either as a YouTube member or as a Patreon. I'm really uh, helpful because for thank you to those people. So I'm here, right, each Sunday. And by the way, I just remember, while you put block on the chat, if you wanna get into the contest to win this dynamic block, I need to say thank you to to my supporters. Come on, I cannot forget this. Thank you very much for supporting my work, uh, my friends, YouTube members, and patrons. Thank you, because thanks to you, I'm here right now giving you these live lessons. So thank you very much. If you want to also support my work, you can join join us. We have many perks and benefits. So yeah, but let's go to the contest now. So let me go over here and hide this up, and we're gonna go to the chat. So I'm gonna pick a comment. So just include the word block to win this dynamic block that I will email it to you, so you um, can have this, and of course add this block to your living rooms and simplify your life. So let's see. While you put block on the chat, we have 10 people connected. That's awesome. I'm gonna read some of your comments also. So I'll give you 2 more minutes so you can put block on the chat. Uh, let's see. Douglas says, terrific, Luis. Very helpful as always. See you next week. Have a great Thanksgiving. Uh, oh yeah, have a Thanksgiving. Have a great Thanksgiving too, Michael. Thank you about that. Mary says this is super. Uh, I'm glad you found this useful, Mary, and thank you for letting me know, right? So let's see over here. I'm trying to I'm trying to pick the common winner. So over here, let me do it. So so I'm going here on my second screen, so I can pick the common winner while you leave your comments on the chat. Ali also says that is such as great. Uh, Ali, thank you for letting me know. Ali, if you want to participate on the contest right now live, just say block on the chat, and I will be able to uh, run this contest to pick a winner, right? So I'm trying to. Okay, so I found it. Finally, I found it. Okay, so I'm almost ready to pick a winner. Uh, so I'm gonna pick a winner live. Everything here is live, right? That's the beauty of this. I really like that interaction that I cannot have with a regular video. We still do regular videos, but I really enjoy these live streams. Um, so where's part of the lesson? Miriam says, um, I have lost the first part of the lesson. Mary, you probably arrived late then, so you can rewatch this live stream after we finish today. So that's not a problem. You can rewatch it at your own pace, right? So Mary also says block. Uh, nice, Mary. You want to participate on the contest, so that's awesome. Hope you can win. Uh, so let's see. Let me put this here so you can. So that's the block that you're gonna win today, and I think we are ready to pick a winner, right? I think it's time to pick a winner. So we wrap up today's live stream. Okay. So Douglas is in the chat also. Douglas says block biggest. It says biggest was showing me how to put things the different layers. Douglas, yeah, I'm glad you learned something useful, right, in our live stream. That's awesome. Thank you for letting me know. So that means we're doing a good job here, trying to explain things. Of course, we need to improve at each live stream, right? We need to. That's normal, but thank you for letting me know that, Douglas. And I know you want to participate also because you're saying block. Georgina Xiomara says thanks. Thank you, Xiomara, for being here. Ali wants to participate, says blog. And Douglas says blog also. Okay, we're ready. We're ready to wrap up today's live stream. And I wish you luck to anybody who wants to get this blog. So let's do that. Um, oops, I think we need to to verify our StreamYard account. So that's not a problem. I'm gonna do that really quick. So thank you for stick around till the end. I'm gonna do this here on the side. So yeah, I'm gonna do this on the side. Log into your account. Get login. Okay, I'm gonna do this here. So give me 1 second. I'm trying to pick a random winner so you can win this dynamic block, right? Okay, I found it. Finally, I found it. Giveaway page. Okay. Oh my god, this thing is a nightmare. But anyway, all right, we're ready to pick a winner. So I'm gonna pick the broadcast. Of course, is this one over here? How to create a dynamic block. And good luck to everybody. The word is block. That's the word. And let's start collecting comments. We have 3 people participating. That's awesome. So let's pick a winner. Ready? And the winner is Mary. Good. That's awesome, Mary, that you won this dynamic vlog. You're always showing up on our live streams. That's awesome that you get rewarded with this awesome dynamic vlog. So, Mary, you have won uh, this dynamic blog. I will email it to you. Just simply email me your information, your email, of course, so I can send you this. Um, so you can find that on our page, or if you don't know, it's Lazy Arquitecto, or sorry, Irving at lazyarquitecto.com. So, guys, thank you for stick around. And if you still want to get this dynamic blog, you didn't win today, you can get it by being a supporter either on YouTube as a YouTube member or on Patreon. Thank you very much. And Douglas says, congrats, Mary. All right, guys, I had a wonderful time today. So I hope you also enjoyed today's live stream with 12 people. That's awesome that we are here. And uh, so have a wonderful rest of the day and have a great Thanksgiving.